media. As consumers, we are bombarded by it at every turn, like the Incredible Hulk being bombarded by gamma rays. But what makes some media endure, while others are banished to the forgotten black hole of obscurity, never to be heard from again? Who or what decides this? Hetero life mates Steve and Yahel want to know, and they want to know now. This is Obscurity Now. And what's up, Obscurians? Mass is in session. Welcome, everyone. Give your offerings to Yahel, give them to me, and just mail them to us somehow. This is Obscurity Now, or the Church of Obscurity Now, where we take a look at weird and almost forgotten pieces of media, and then we decide if they should be sent upwards to the heavens or tossed downward to hell. My name is Steve. I'm one of the parishioners, and with me is my choir boy, Yahel Velazquez. How's it going?
Well, if I'm your choir boy, I mean, I do have some concerns. Just before we got on here to do the sound check, you were like, "Oh no, I'm gonna be late. I gotta shave. I gotta look good for my choir boy." Apparently,
I didn't. You added that choir boy part.
Well, no, you've added the choir boy part.
You just now added it.
Oh, you mean to you shaving? Yes,
yes, you did. Yes, you
but
did.
I because now I know the reason why you shaved. I thought that was
right.
Very
of
unusual.
Course. I mean, I have to look, baby smooth like you choir boys do. All right, this is getting weird.
Yes.
Okay. So are you ready to get saved, Yahel, or are you already saved?
I hate to. Nobody's safe.
Yeah, right.
And no.
You got that right.
Today, no one is safe from the creativity of one Willie Ames.
Yeah, I mean, he was all over. He was all over this one. He did everything, at least with this episode, other than actually create Bibleman. I mean, he was all over this.
Yeah. I hear that Willie wrote the Bible.
He helped build the ark. Like, he did everything. Smited the Sodomites. Everything.
Exactly. He's got a love for purple and gold, and
and
saving your soul.
Right. So if you're just joining us today, we are taking a look at the Christian phenom known as a Bibleman, who is basically a Christian superhero, or I guess the wiki said that he is a evangelical superhero. And before we get too deep, and I don't have a history with Bibleman. Do you?
Oh, I remember Bibleman when it came out.
You do? I mean,
I didn't watch it because it was I was too old for it.
Right.
I was like 16 or something when it came out. The episode we watched, I know the copyright said 1998, but I'm pretty sure this came out before that, like 95, 96, something like that.
Well, the original Bibleman episodes, which we're going to talk about, which they mentioned in the wiki, they came, like the first 2-3 episodes, they came out a couple of years before the one we're going to watch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I think that they were like direct to video.
Yep.
And your church would buy them and then upsell them to you, I'm sure, so that they could pocket some money. Because, Steve, to quote Judge Carlin, what does God need?
He needs a new airplane or something like that.
He needs money. He always needs money.
It's true. Well, I was going to ask you, though. Okay, so I know that, you were definitely forced to go to church when you were a little boy, right?
Yes.
As was I.
Yes.
And now I'm just curious, did they ever show you any kind of hip, geared toward youngster kind of TV show or media along the lines of a Bibleman when you were?
I didn't get as much of it as probably, like most kids going to church, being forced to go to a Pentecostal church at that age. But I went to a Spanish Pentecostal church, so there just weren't like that many like materials geared towards like young teens and like Spanish language. So.
Hey there, fellow kids.
Yeah. Hey there, fellow muchachos.
I never knew you were raised Pentecostal because Sandy was as well. Man, you guys had So much you could have talked about back when we.
Well, we could have. Maybe we'll speak to each other in tongues in front of you one day, and you'll have no idea what we're saying. And here's a little secret, Steve. Neither will we.
Well, you'll be
It's all made
speaking.
up.
You'll be speaking Spanish, and she'll be speaking Tagalog. So I'll have no idea what you're saying. Maybe a little
Oh no,
bit.
no. I meant the Holy Ghost will inhabit our bodies and take over, Steve.
I know.
The very real Holy Ghost.
Right.
Will penetrate us.
Ouch. That's.
But yeah, I do remember seeing Bibleman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I saw him in. I mean, we would sometimes like get these like magazines that were like in the like the youth class or whatever, because we were like situated in an American church. I think that's what it was. So they would have stuff laying around. So I knew of Bibleman. I thought it looked pretty terrible and cheesy. I suspect if I would have been 8, or I'm assuming this is like geared towards like 7 to 10-year-olds.
Right.
I think I would have felt it was awful then too, though. I mean, it's so lame.
Right. I hear you.
Do you think you would have liked this as a 7-year-old kid?
Oh man, it's hard to say. Like, I mean, at least there was a little bit of action in this episode. And I will say, I mean, before we get too deep, that I mean, the set design is better than expected. At least coming from
I agree.
From my end.
But would you say it's good?
I mean, like, to me, it's on par with tattooed teenage alien fighters from Beverly Hills, and that's not saying
I was
much.
actually going to ask you if you think this is on par with Power Rangers.
Yeah, I would say up there. It's all that sort of, maybe not up there with tattooed teenage alien fighters from Beverly Hills. I'll stick with that.
I say it's not even like up to those standards, because really the only sets we have here is their lair, which I think is just the church.
Right. It's
set.
like, yeah, that they decorated, and then the church, and then the basement.
Yeah,
right?
I mean that's it.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's a lot. You talk about set design. I mean, they did a decent job. Obviously, this isn't high budget,
Right.
and they did a decent job of like redressing the church set with like these weird, very 90s looking ideas of what what a futuristic computer kind of is.
Yeah. Oh,
But,
how'd you like when they had that sort of, I don't know if it was like a hidden commercial for some sort of Bible CD-ROM or something?
Oh yeah, that was so weird. I guess it must be like an interactive multimedia game or something.
Right, one of those. But no, I think the obvious inspiration of a lot of their set design and Bibleman in general is obviously Adam West Batman. Although, and
See that?
you don't think so?
No, I said I could see that.
Oh yeah, and it's weird though. How would you? What do you think about the little breaking the fourth wall style, like almost Deadpool style comedy they tried to weave into their like intense superheroic plot that they had going on?
I think the problem is that they didn't weave it into it. It was just so like blatant and jarring when they did it, and they did it way too many times, as we'll see. Yeah, there's a character named Ludacris.
Oh God!
Unfortunately,
what a waste
not
of
the
a
rapper.
paycheck. Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever said "unfortunately not the rapper" about Ludacris until today.
Well, Steve, you show up to a con based around Fast and Furious, and Ludacris isn't there, and you'll be disappointed that he's not there. Those people will be.
I don't
But yeah,
think I'll ever be going to a Fast and Furious con ever, but I get what you're saying.
it's so weird. It's so weird because the character, he's called Ludacris, but he's like the straight man of the two villains. So he's actually like not Ludacris at all.
No, and he really has no reason to be there. He really adds nothing to the plot. If anything, I just felt like maybe they thought that Shadow of a Doubt was, I don't know, too scary or something and needed to be taken down a peg or something.
I was kind of thinking something along the same lines. Not so much maybe that Shadow is scary, because they kind of make him really silly and
incredibly flamboyant.
Make it very clear.
Yeah.
I think it's more like, they don't want some little kids to watch the fighting or whatever and get scared of that. So
Right.
like Ludacris is constantly coming up and telling you basically, hey, this is a TV show, wink, wink.
Right. If there's anything that could be taken seriously, it's undercut by Ludacris.
Willie Ames wants to make sure that you don't take his work seriously.
Right.
At least that's what I thought until I read his IMDb bio. That was definitely written by him, which I'll get into shortly.
Ooh, I can't wait. And speaking of which, why don't we just go ahead and dive? Oh, wait, before we get in there, I would like to say the only piece of sort of like religious media that I remember being exposed to back when I was in Bible school, and let me know if you've seen this one. It's I had to look it up because I couldn't remember the name, but it's basically about, it's like three friends who are from the present day who, for whatever reason, are sent back in time to biblical times to, I don't know, experience the Bible as it happens. And does it ring a bell at all? Or
It doesn't ring a bell, but Steve, I don't think you might not know this about me, but I was a part of some Christian media that was created when I was real little.
Passion of the Christ?
Yes. I would like our church. That, remember, I said I was like, it was like part of this like American church, and the American church owned this company or like TV studio called Star Industries, and they produced like a bunch of Christian programming and radio. And I, as like a 9-year-old, got like, well, I mean, at that point I was still, and I apologize if you're a believer. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a normal listener to the show, you probably know that we're both atheists.
Yeah, I'll try to not be too snarky.
Yeah, I actually forgot
about people's beliefs.
Ask you about that ahead of time. It's like, are we?
Yeah, I forgot. I meant to bring it up too because I mean, I don't want, if you want to believe in that stuff. I mean, that's fine. I'll try not to like, but there's plenty of stuff to make fun of here that has nothing to do with Christian beliefs.
We're here to make fun of Bibleman first. Okay.
Yeah, we're here to make fun of like the show, not so much the religion.
Right, exactly.
But
if it happens, just be prepared.
Yeah, I got like put into like a few different productions where I had to like sing some Christian like Christmas songs and a few other things. Have you ever seen those clips on TikTok of a guy that's like dressed as a giant like blue foam Bible?
No.
If you look it up, I can't remember like what the character was called. Maybe probably Mr. Bible or something stupid, but it's kind of like an infamous Christian kids show character, and I was like in a couple of those shows.
Oh man, well we should have like stills of this to show along Bible Man. We gotta track those.
I'm sorry.
We gotta track those down for a future episode. But for now, well, anyway, the name of that show was like the Amazing Bible Adventures or something like that. And I just remember the episode with David and Goliath, when David, because I think this was like animated in Japan or something, when David threw his sling at Goliath, and then the rock like hit him in the forehead. It was like a geyser of blood, like everywhere. And like,
okay, this doesn't sound bad. It's Japanese animation
I was like,
from the 80s or 90s.
I was like, finally, I was
bloody.
like,
Okay.
yes, like now we're talking.
Right.
Yeah.
See, like I'd be a Christian now if that's what they had shown.
It was basically the predecessor to the aforementioned Passion of the Christ by Mel Gibson. But all right, without further ado, let's get saved by Bibleman.
Welcome to your feature presentation.
All right. Of course, we forgot to mention at the top of the episode that we're actually going to watch this episode of Bibleman with ourselves, basically. And that episode is called The Bibleman Adventures, Defeating the Shadow of Doubt. And this particular episode premiered January 1st, 1998. As Yahel mentioned at the beginning, Bibleman actually premiered a direct-to-video back in 1995 and ran all the way to 2010, and then was later relaunched in 2016 as The Bibleman Adventures. There's 19 seasons in total, 32 live-action episodes, and 26 animated ones. Can you believe that?
How are there 19 seasons but 32 episodes?
I mean, I guess it depends how many episodes per season they want to do. Since it's direct to video, they can just kind of do what they want. And IMDb has it broken up into like 5 seasons, so I'm sure it like varies. And you know, we're not talking about something distributed by Deke
or something where
old Deke and their high standards. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying there's not going to be probably a lot of formality in terms of how, normal TV series, even those geared towards kids, would be packaged.
Right. And they have it, so here they are, the 5 seasons. It's weird on the Wikipedia, season 1 is really only considered 2 episodes. And the reason why we're not covering those first, because we like to start at the beginning of things, is because they're terrible. The very first episode of Bibleman, called Big Book, kind of plays like an episode of Barney. Like, Bibleman just sort of shows up at a youth group and just mixes it up with kids who sing and dance. And it just would have been too boring. So I sort of looked ahead and went to The Bibleman Adventures, which is considered season 3, 1998 to 1999. And the first episode of that is Defeating the Shadow of Doubt. And that's why we're watching that one.
I kind of wish we would have watched. There's one called, and I remembered it after the fact, called Breaking the Bonds of Disobedience, where I didn't know the name ahead of time, but I knew that there was the bad guy in it was basically like a Borg ripoff from Star Trek.
Oh, that would have been good.
Yeah, and I've seen it before, and I feel like, though he looks like a Borg, and I do look, he looks like a Borg, but I think he acts like Mr. Freeze.
Which version of Mr. Freeze? The one from the movies,
I want to
or
say
the animated series?
I want to say more like the Schwarzenegger one.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, they're definitely going for camp here. In fact, as you will see or hear, dear listener/viewer, Shadow of a Doubt here, I feel like, is definitely channeling his best Jim Carrey Riddler. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's definitely hamming it up big time. But moving along here, the synopsis for the Bibleman universe is as follows. Miles Peterson had everything: money, power, fame, until he lost it. Then Miles finds the power of God and harnesses that power to become a Bibleman. And that's basically the synopsis for the series. And here's the episode synopsis. While under the spell of the sinister shadow of doubt, is it Kylie? I can't remember. Kayla, right?
I want to say it was like, I don't know.
I swear it kept changing. All right, we're going to go with
it might be one of those things.
Kayla. All right. Kayla begins to doubt God's interest in her problems. And when Bibleman and his trusted friend Coates come to her aid, the cunning shadow of doubt targets Bibleman as his next victim. Both Bibleman and Kayla learn a lesson in relying on the truths in God's word. And Bibleman was created by Tony Salerno. Yeah, that's it. And he is known for making other Christian programs such as The Amazing Children, The Everlasting Adventure series, and The Bible, The Amazing Book. You ever see any of those?
No. I didn't get a chance to be bored to death by any of those, unfortunately.
I haven't
even heard of them.
Yeah, me either. And this was written and directed by Triple Threat, Willie. How did you pronounce Ames?
I thought you were going to say Triple H.
Willie, could it be Ayamas? Like Lorenzo Ayamas?
I feel like it's Ames, because I feel like I've heard his name.
All right, we'll go with
that. Who knows?
So he is known for directing and writing these other shows, most specifically The Public Life of Sissy Pike, The New Girl in Town, and The Missy Files. And aside from Bibleman, he hasn't directed anything else. And another notable thing that he wrote but did not direct is Charles in Charge. And
he was in Charles in Charge.
Was he?
Yeah, he was Buddy Lemick. He's like in most of the episodes.
So that must have been the link, because I thought it was the other guy, right?
No, Willie Ames. I'm looking at his IMDb right now. He was in 126 episodes of Charles in Charge.
So that must have been what happened. I got it all mixed up because I thought Kirk Cameron all this time was Bibleman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk Cameron he's of the Left Behind.
Right.
franchise.
As well,
which
he
we should
should
really
be.
cover that one day.
We will.
Just alienate anybody. Who
Oh, I want to do the
believes-
one with Nicolas Cage in it.
Oh, I would love to. I haven't seen his yet.
Oh,
I've
me
been
either.
wanting.
Yeah, okay. So, who were some of the thespians who was in this show?
Well, I guess we can start off with Willie Ames, however his name is pronounced. As we mentioned, he is Bibleman in this. He's also the writer of this episode and director of this episode. He was in, like I said, Charles in Charge. He was also in the Dungeons and Dragons TV series, which I thought was interesting just because Dungeons and Dragons was kind of part of the whole satanic panic of the late 70s and 80s. So I don't know. Maybe he hadn't converted yet.
I mean, if you look at him in his later years and some of the stuff that he did after Bibleman, it's all pretty secular, if you ask me.
You know, Steve, I'm starting to think this guy might have just been trying to get some money out of the...
I think...
I don't want to say gullible. Well, children are gullible. So I'm not saying...
Right.
Children. They're like, oh, this looks cool. I want it. But anyways, I do want to read his bio. That he 100%... For those that don't know, you can write your own bio on IMDb. And he definitely did. After becoming an award-winning platinum-selling writer, producer, director, Willie Ames took a 5-year hiatus and became a 6-star cruise director, spending his time circling the globe and visiting over 127 countries. Then it says how he returned recently to acting and filmmaking, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Something about his wife, who cares?
I read that too, yeah.
Yeah, hilarious. Playing the part or the voice, I guess, of the computer, which was called Eunice, is Malo. What a name, Malo McCaslin. It might be Milo McCaslin. I don't know, but a couple of fun facts. She was also in Charles in Charge. I thought I had written down how many episodes.
It was she
fine.
was Willie's wife at the time of this, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say she was previously married to him. They ended in divorce, which is funny because in this episode, it's all about this little girl's Kayla, about her parents, her arguing.
But I
she
thought
thinks they're going to split up.
I thought divorce was against God's will.
Well, Steve, I guess Kayla, whatever child Willie and Malo had didn't pray hard enough.
Ooh.
And didn't.
If only where was Bibleman? Come on.
Well, when Bibleman's starting the arguments, and he's just throwing Bible verses at Malo, she's like, "God damn it, Willie! Can we just talk about you spending more time with me?" And he's like, "Well, 1 Corinthians chapter 2,
Leviticus 20:17.
Yeah,
I can beat my slave however I want."
Yeah. Oh, that's New Testament. That's actually Jesus that said that, not God.
Right.
No, I'm not even joking.
No, I know it's in
Jesus.
It's in Leviticus how to treat your slaves.
Isn't Leviticus? No, Leviticus is all about how gay people are terrible.
Yeah, all the bad stuff is in Leviticus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's all bad. Yeah, I do remember though. Jesus explicitly gives instructions for how to beat slaves. And
right.
They are very specific instructions. It's very weird.
Right.
Anyways, there's the one. No, we're gonna get banned by the Moody Bible Institute or something.
Right.
Anyways, moving right along, we've got Mark Wayne who plays Coates. I got I'm so confused by Coates, but I'll wait till we start watching it to get into my notes about Coates. Anyways, he didn't really do much. In fact, he didn't even do much Bibleman. Only 4 episodes. And then he didn't do anything for 14 years. He had a part in some thing called King's Bachelor Pad, an episode of that, and then an episode of something called Space Journey. We've got Brian Lemons, who plays the villain, Doubt. Shadow of Doubt is his full name, I guess. He only did 6 things. Randomly, he did something in 2021, but yeah, nothing anyone's gonna know him for. I did notice, though, he plays several other villains throughout the Bibleman series. Including the Borg one. So nice. There's that. And then we've got, I already went over the guy that plays Coates. Steve Weatherford, who who plays Ludacris. Excuse me, sorry, I got a little confused here. And he hasn't really done anything else. Literally,
Oh,
this
but
is
he
the only
has
thing
so
he did.
much charisma.
And then,
What a waste.
then playing Pastor Rex, we've got Rex Bonar.
Please tell me he went on to a lucrative porn career.
He and Willie Ames actually got married.
Willie?
No, I don't know. The only thing he ever did was Bibleman.
Yeah,
So.
I'm pretty sure he's an actual pastor and not a real actor. But that's just my guess.
Steve, are there any real actors in this?
I mean, I'd say Willie. Well, we'll save it to the end. We'll see.
He's the closest thing to like a real actor, but yeah. So I do see that Rex Bonar is still doing stuff actually in the ministry. He's got some really weirdly titled YouTube videos for something called the Journey Bible Church. Wow, seems like he's some crazy conspiracy nut. He's got videos about how to confront teachers who are teaching scientific facts. So that's not good. That's great. Anyway, Steven, that is basically the cast. The only other person in the cast is the little girl who is not like credited. Oh yeah, she is. I'm sorry.
Kyla was played by Kyla
her name.
Pratt.
That's also her
wow,
character.
What a stretch.
Yeah, no relation to Chris Pratt, I think.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe he's religious, so maybe
they go to the same church.
Yeah, maybe Kyla Pratt became Chris.
Anything's
Pratt.
possible these days. All right, you ready to watch this thing?
Let's do it.
Let me make sure I have the right.
And in case anybody's gonna watch along with us, I'm sure Steve will include in the show notes a link or whatever. But we can do a little countdown, or I guess it'll be visually presented to us. But give me a countdown, Steve.
Okay. Well, I guess I better start at the very beginning of the thing then, where the. Okay, so.
Oh no! Just give me a timestamp.
5, 4, 3, 2, and play. All right. You should have seen the Pamphlet Entertainment logo.
What's I was just gonna say what's
Peterson,
oh wait, this intro is pretty amazing.
So good.
Wealth, status, success. Still, something was lacking.
Status. They show a trackball mouse.
His spirit people, Miles Peterson gave up.
Oh, we're gonna pause it after and discuss it.
Yeah. Why is he screaming like this?
Hour, the words of a single book began to change his life.
Oh my!
Miles Peterson felt the burning desire
the Bible.
to know God. Inspired by the Word of God and equipped with unyielding faith, Miles pledged to fight evil in the name of God. As Bibleman.
Okay, so all right, you're a millionaire or a very successful person.
Yeah, you've got a laptop with a trackball mouse in it. You've got the
You're
status
wandering
of that.
around in the
This
forest, and then all of a sudden you have an existential crisis because all of your money and accomplishments have, for whatever reason, amounted to nothing. So,
yeah, that trackball mouse is not helping you in your day-to-day life.
Hey, it was the
it may move.
It was the 90s, man.
Your cursor across the screen. But man, maybe it's the curse, bro.
It was the 90s, man. A trackball mouse was a big deal back then. At least it was for Willie Ames or whoever it is that created the Bibleman. Also, I'd like to point out that we had 2 episodes in a row where the main protagonist was named Miles. Make sure you see our last episode for Parole Violators, where that protagonist's name was Miles Long. You'll love it. But yeah, so he screams into the void and empties his briefcase, and it's
empties it, and he like opens it facing away from him and just kind of like I don't know, like just like kind of pushes, like shakes it so like the papers come out of it, because why exactly was it that they said like
he realized that there has to be more because he's already successful and. Yeah, so I mean that's.
I guess he's just not fulfilled.
That's it. And that's what I think is like sort of super lame about I mean everything's super lame here, but like, man, it's like you couldn't give Bibleman a proper origin. He's just a successful guy who realizes there has to be more than he falls on a Bible. Like, gosh, that's
Yeah, he yeah, so he falls to the ground, it's raining, and then he like happens to fall in front of where a Bible is kind of buried under some leaves and stuff, which I don't know what happened to the person that left it there. Did God drop this like the Death Note gets dropped?
Do you think you'll ever get so successful that you'll have an existential crisis like Miles did? Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so. I want somebody to find me wearing a trench coat, paper strewn about.
That's what's a thing that I'll say that I really appreciate about it, that he's dressed like a dude in the 1950s or something. He's basically dressed like the Shadow or your sort of typical 1950s businessman.
Yeah. And then he like screams, but it's like his scream combined with like the roar of a lion. And then underneath that, like when he sees the Bible, it's like they dub over his voice going, the Bible.
Yeah, I mean, that I think maybe they threw it in there for kids who can't read. Like, I don't know why that was there.
Well, maybe God should help these kids.
He should, or someone should teach these kids to read.
No, I think you're right, B, because there's a narrator explaining this to us for some reason. And the narrator just says like the book or something.
Right. Oh, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Then I'm on board. Yeah.
Oh, me too.
All right, we'll continue on here. And now the theme plays. And yeah, so what do you think of this? Well, we haven't gotten into it yet, but all this flashy stuff on the screen is kind of fun. But definitely, what do you think they made that with back then?
I think it probably on an Amiga.
Yep.
Because that would have been the cheapest way to go about doing it without needing like a lot of like to do this kind of stuff on a PC would have been very expensive.
Oh, William Mays was a producer as well. I forgot to mention that. And I was about to say, I was almost like at the very beginning, I was almost kind of on board with the theme where it did that wow 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 part, but then when the lyrics and the singing come in, it's just the worst here.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And
I mean, like the graphics and stuff, like they're both better and worse than I expected. Like I don't know, it's hard to describe.
What's the deal?
Like for 1998, they're not good.
Oh, okay. So now, if you're listening, they're in a church. And then they're talking about community outreach, and they're bringing out their, what do they call them, like youth, I don't know, activity group or something. And
they're performing arts group or something.
Describe how all the kids were dressed.
They're dressed all in black, like they're going to a funeral.
Black t-shirts and jeans.
So now, with no further ado,
and the camera takes us into the vent of the church and then down into the basement, which is kind of fun. At least they're trying.
Yeah. Like it almost at first I was like, is this a crane shot? But it's
so not. There's like,
and then it's weird. So there's like this like ooze, like mutagenic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like.
I was gonna say Nickelodeon style slime, but yeah, either one works.
There you go.
And then they're doing their interpretive dance right now on the stage. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's awful. It's like they're doing like a weird. Oh my god, what's that play? That musical? Like the two sides are fighting. Like, is it Grease? Is that what I'm
thinking of?
No, it's not.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't. It was just recently remade. Bye Bye Birdie. That one? Maybe?
No, that's not what I'm thinking of. The one where there's one gang of Puerto Ricans fighting somebody else.
I thought that was called Bye Bye Birdie. I guess not. All right. So anyway, these bricks are breaking down, and we can hear the voice of the Shadow of Doubt. He's monologuing.
Say hello to Shadow.
And he's like looking straight at the camera, and then
Excuse me, Mr. Shadow.
Yeah, he like breaks through like this brick wall. There's all this smoke behind him and stuff, and then Ludacris comes out and like reveals that it's a fake.
Right, and
wall.
and what's his name's about to tell us, SOD is about to tell us, he just does it because I like to be scary.
I know what it is, Ludacris. I do it for effect. To be
Yeah,
more scary.
he says he
Right,
does it for
right.
effect.
Because it really
And
wasn't that
Ludacris says,
scary.
"Oh, this is a fake wall. You don't have to punch the bricks out, and it's just for the
I
video."
actually thought that shot was kind of fun, but then they had to undercut it.
The shot was
Yeah,
pretty well
yeah.
made.
See, the production value is not that bad on this. And I wish it was worse.
I mean, it's nice for 1998. It's bad.
I keep forgetting that it's 1998.
The thing is, like, looking at this, you would think it's like
Right.
1992.
Oh, absolutely.
something like that. Or even
So
1990.
we are now in the
Okay, here's the first of Coates' many military-esque type outfits.
Like I mean, I didn't really look up like the explanation for Coates as a character, but for whatever reason, he's always wearing like a military uniform.
Password
And yeah,
is
so they're in the Bible.
John.
But it's like a different one in almost every scene. Like he's got like a different set of like medals on every other like scene and different colored like uniform. Like what army is he in? Like 3 of them? He's in 3 different armed
I am
services.
enjoying these. I mean, these graphics on their computers are so bad that they're good. I mean, come on, you gotta.
Yeah. I'm 99% sure this was made on an Amiga.
Oh yeah, so they're having a sort of little disagreement, Coates and the computer, over what the password is, and I don't know. For some reason, this carries throughout the episode, just sort of like a running gag, I guess, to string the scenes together or whatever.
Both of you. Eunice?
Yeah, because William's character like said the computer asked for the password. And he said John 3:16. He was like, "Oh, access granted." But I guess he also said please.
John 3:16. All this time I thought it was Austin 3:16. I must be wrong. So
So basically this pastor is like sending them a message about how like hey, there's this little girl who's really struggling with doubt because her
Right,
parents are
and they-
arguing. Why don't you help her? Why don't you counsel
right,
her,
they
her
had.
pastor?
I think it's funny is that they went through all the alarms and flashing lights in the Bibleman lair and stuff, essentially just so they could have a Skype conversation.
Well, I don't think that they talk to him. They just get a
Ready
message
the chamber, Mike.
because nobody knows
Well, then
who
that
Bible
makes
Man
it
is.
even lamer. Yeah, it's just a
I
video
agree.
message then.
You got it.
It's at the end that Bible Man talks to him like a
Right.
Skype call, and he's got like I think he's wearing his Bible Man
Right.
garb.
Praise, of course.
Yeah. So let's see here.
Oh my god, like poor Coates. That guy has never used a keyboard before, huh? He was like scared to like
that
hurt
guy
the
just
keyboard.
sort of wandered in the
kinda
church
right
one
over
day,
there.
like drunk, and then he woke up in this show.
Well, I can't say that I blame her. There's nothing harder or sadder than watching your parents argue.
There's nothing harder or sadder than watching your parents argue, is what
I'm
Bible
sure
Man
there-
says here.
Mm,
I can think
yeah.
of several
I mean,
things.
just ask Coates. I mean, he's done
They
it
say
all.
that misery loves company.
Yeah. You know how many men he's killed in the service?
I mean, he's been handing them all out. BJs, HJs,
Romans
ZJs.
12:15 says to rejoice
Until
with
Bible Man
those
saved
who
him.
Rejoice and weep with those who weep. You want to talk about it?
So Bible Man, basically every conversation he has, like he's like, well, here's a Bible verse for that. Here's a Bible verse for this. Like every other sentence is like a Bible verse.
Ned
You've been a
Flanders.
Christian
And,
long enough
we
to
haven't
know
even
that
mentioned this. So
talking
this
to
is the
me
first
might not
time
stop your parents
that the
from
Bible
arguing,
Man
but
suit
talking to
is
God,
basically shown. And there's no. The weird thing here is that there's no like interesting sort of reveal or sort of show up, and like so he's at this church. And there's all these kids around, and they're, I guess, practicing for their interpretive dance or whatever. And, there's a so-called superhero right there, and no one cares.
Ephesians
No
2:4
one cares.
promises that God
Yeah.
has a great love for
And I'm very
us.
confused. Does Bible Man have any
These are the
powers?
powers of prayer, man.
I'm not sure.
Come on.
But
Yeah, I
everybody
know,
has
right?
that, apparently.
Oh, man. what's his name? Sod, or Shadow of Doubt, is listening
God has a
to
plan for
their
you and your
conversation
parents,
via cup
he won't let you
and
down.
string, basically.
Now,
Like
you said
Huey,
today
Dewey,
at
and
World
Louie.
King-
Nobody notices that the
Was
vent
that?
What happened?
underneath Kayla's like that Kayla's sitting on is like glowing
Right, of
green
course.
because we've got like the green, I don't know,
Right, and we
liquid
just
down
have
there.
a important plot point here where Kayla says her dad found this box in the
She found
she
the
found the box.
Well,
It
that's
was weird.
just
She
not
found the
true,
box
Harry.
after the dad went down to the
Jesus
basement,
loves you and your parents more than you could know.
and this is
Won't let you
basically.
down.
Why was her dad
Yeah,
at the
I know,
church
right?
basement?
I mean, and Pastor Rex was down there too. I mean, what could have happened?
Why isn't Bible Man talking to the parents?
Right. So he should be roughing them up,
Is there anything I
like
can do, Bible Man?
forcing them to stay
you can
married
pray for
and
me.
not argue.
In the meantime, I'd like to take a look around the church
So is
Sure. Stairs
the
are right over
pastor
here.
6'9" or is Willie Ames 5
Well, I mean,
feet
Coates
tall?
makes a joke about him being short later on in the episode. So
Ludicrous.
Oh, there's like 3 jokes about. There's like 3 short jokes. Like Willie Ames is like very
Excuse me, Mr. Shepard.
sensitive about
You
this,
should consider making yourself into a hall.
but he wants people to think he's not.
right.
So he keeps writing
How
in
would you
jokes about it.
describe Ludacris's costume?
It's very feasible with today's computers.
That's ludicrous.
Look, you big
It
oaf.
is.
I'm a villain.
I don't know. Like he's wearing like a
Bodysuit
hat over like a gray
Yeah.
bodysuit
And
that
like
covers his head.
what is it? Head sock, and he's got like eyeshadow on his eyes, and a hat, and a vest. It's literally looks like they threw it together off stuff that they like found in the
Stay out
church
of
basement.
sight, or you ruin a good fight scene.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So, have you seen the Bibleman suit in those previous episodes?
No, was it
It's
different? I guess.
actually worse. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, his.
Well, I mean, Bible Man has a lightsaber, which also doesn't make any sense.
Yes, and he just. Was there even a sound to make him take out the lightsaber just now?
Yeah. There was some kind of sound effect. This is they even do like the lightsaber like every once in a while. I mean, I don't know, man. It's such a weird. Obviously you don't want to give him a gun,
Right.
and why is Shadow of Doubt just singing here?
Oh, there's a lot of weird stuff that Shadow of Doubt does.
Basement. What a silly
I-
picture when he loses trust.
Why can't he hear him?
Well, I guess because he's wearing that stupid cowl that's covering his ear.
That's a good reason.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so Bible Man opens a box similar to what Kayla had, and this green stuff starts swirling around his head, and I guess it's supposed to make him increase his doubt. Or they explain later that it amplifies your feelings.
Right.
Because I guess everyone feels doubtful about the Bible, basically, deep down inside, and this like brings it out. I mean, that's kind of what they imply later, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
When entertaining strangers for you might be entertaining angels without knowing it.
Oh, and this is like a running theme. So as they fight, they
Yes, but
constantly
fallen
like
angels
quip
are
back and
entertaining.
forth to one another. And I mean, I didn't write all of them down, but I wrote a few of them down.
Without a doubt.
Like there's one later. I can't remember if it's here or when he goes. Oh yeah,
I
he said it
believe
earlier.
the
He goes,
Bible with all my heart.
"Surprise, Bible brute!" And then Bible Man goes, "I've never been one for surprises, especially those with rotten teeth." Like, well, what does that even
Yeah.
mean?
One day your scripture
I guess. Yeah, and then he says something like, "You really should floss."
Yeah.
I guess the bad guy's got like smelly breath and bad teeth, and that's something to make fun of. Hopefully, you're not a kid that can't afford dental care, whose parents can't afford dental care watching this.
Right.
Pain in the neck.
And then what's his
Like,
name?
really odd choice.
Yeah. And then SOD says, "Goodbye. Partying is such a pain in the neck." Like, whoa, he's so wacky.
But like, why wouldn't at this point you involve the police? There's a weird guy in the basement of the church.
You can't trust the police. Yahel, they're
He
secular.
doesn't even tell the pastor, I
Yeah.
guess.
All right.
Okay, Coates is wearing yet a different style, military style shirt. He's got 1 million medals now, and awards pinned to him.
This guy covered himself very well.
I love how Bibleman is also a scientist.
Oh, of course. Of course.
I guess that's how he made his money before his millions.
Yeah, right.
And at the same time, it was so familiar. I can't put my finger on it.
Miles, you've been working on this non-stop for days.
So this is where we get sort of
Maybe you
the
should
classic.
give it some
I mean, I
time
don't know if
to
Miles
rest.
is supposed to be considered a sidekick or partner,
All right.
but he's giving him
Start
the
again,
old.
right from the top.
Been working too
Eunice,
hard, man. You need to take a
reanalyze
break.
the battle scenario and
Of
compare
course.
it
You mean
to your
Coates?
testimony.
Yeah,
Coates
isn't that what I
was
said?
considered a second. No, you said Miles.
Oh, yeah. Coates. Yeah, he just wants Miles to take a break.
We all need rest.
But my Bible man, you know, he just can't rest
You
because
didn't
Kayla
experience
needs
what I
him.
went through. Look, we've got to find out who this guy is.
So is this like
Okay, I
Coates
know I wasn't
and Bibleman's like
there, but I am
full-time
your
job?
friend
They make
and
money
I
doing
am
this? Like,
worried
what's
about
going on?
Yeah,
I
like
know,
what's
you
Coates
are my
doing
friend.
during the day?
And I appreciate your concern. but
I
I'm
mean,
concerned
from what I
about
understand,
Kyla.
Black Ops missions, the Sudan desert. I don't know.
Look, I know how
He
she
blew
feels,
up the
Coates.
that
I
pipeline
used to
everyone's
watch my
talking
parents
about.
argue.
Yeah, he's going wherever Dick Cheney tells him to shoot people.
I know that somehow
Is that guy
this-
even still a
this
factor anymore?
thing and Kyla's feelings are connected.
I don't know. I think
Oh, this
isn't
is
he
the
like a
90s,
owner
so
of
yes,
Blackwater.
he would be. Oh yeah, Blackwater. Yeah, there you go. All right, now I'm with you. Now I'm with you.
I'm gonna keep my promise.
And that you will. But for tonight,
The way
Let's take a
Coates aggressively says,
We can
"Okay,
start fresh in the morning."
friend."
Yeah,
Okay.
yo, he was ready to punch him.
friend,
He was ready to end the fray. He was ready to kill him.
Right.
All right. Shut it down, Eunice. It's time to
This
get
is such a '90s trope. The sassy computer.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
So the computer again is like, "You didn't say the magic phrase."
Weird science.
So now we're back at the church where no one's learning about God or the Bible yet. Kayla's just like drawing blue crosses, it looks like, on that giant piece of paper.
Right. And those kids
Thinking
are
about her parents arguing.
those kids are still practicing in the background, and none of them make a sound. And they didn't bother to like dub in any kind of background noises to make it seem like they're there actually, that they're actually there.
Right. I would love to know what her parents are arguing about.
Yeah.
I want to take a side.
I love God more. No, I do.
Hi, Kyla.
Let's see. It's the 90s. They're probably arguing over which one's better, Friends or Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Calm down, Kyla. I came by to
I love
apologize
how
you.
Kyla just bites into Bible Man, just completely dresses him down.
Yeah, I mean, and Kyla's like, "Hey, where was God last night? My parents were arguing.
Right.
Like, where were you?" He's like, "It seems like God doesn't answer any prayers." I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, yeah, Kyla, go girl.
Yeah, she brings up a lot of like classic,
Valid points. Yeah.
arguments that people have against, religion and God and that kind of stuff.
So
And Bible Man, I guess, is like having doubts now because he's under the spell of that that concoction or whatever.
yeah, it's
that green stuff.
How did he? The
Bible
tonic,
says
or
that.
how does he describe it? It's something like that. Basically, a potion, if you will, created by
But the thing is, like,
Shadow of a Doubt.
I feel like this is like a terrible. If I was making this and my goal is, to teach kids about God and get them to like believe in God and whatever,
Just too easy.
God doesn't seem very powerful if your faith in him can be overcome by like some like random green liquid a guy made.
I know, right? And
Right?
And also, I was thinking like,
Begging for mercy.
I feel like they didn't have to be so heavy-handed. Like, did you ever like listen to a like a metal band or a song, and then afterwards someone was like, "Hey, listening to some Christian rock, huh?" And you're like, "Oh my God, I accidentally listened to some." Like that's what they could have done with this. Like maybe if they weren't
Right,
so
right.
overt with the, "Oh well, Corinthians 25, whatever." Like that's just
Yeah.
that's the most.
I mean, the guy is called Bible Man, though. I
Right.
mean, so they were like, Oh, so here, Shadow of Doubt bursts into this long dance and song number.
Oh man.
And we kind of talked over it, but the shot just before this, Ludacris, like, again, breaks the fourth wall, and then Shadow of Doubt tells him to get out because he's ruining the shot. So it's so weird. Like, everybody here knows that they're in all the bad guys know that they're in a video. I don't think Bibleman knows.
No, he doesn't know.
Nobody else knows.
Now, when you were watching this, did it remind you of another video that we recently watched? Say
that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Ah, there it is.
One, yeah. But this is better.
It is. So, do you want to fast forward through this, or should we talk about something else?
I mean,
well, I guess we should
the lyrics are pretty funny.
Yeah.
Not on purpose.
Especially since it is basically a parody of Everybody Doubt Now. It's Everybody Dance Now.
It's the old CNC Music Factory song.
God, that's so big. This is a really hello fellow kids moment here.
Yeah. I mean, so is like Shadow of Doubt here supposed to seem cool to kids or like a dork?
I know, right? I mean, his dancing's pretty bad, but that beat, it is on point.
Right?
And he's got like rappers coming out of nowhere, spitting fat rhymes. Yeah. Like, if I was 8 years old, they'd be like, I want some more Shadow of Doubt. Doubt me up.
I mean, yeah, and Shadow of Doubt's outfit, we haven't really talked about it, but he's just wearing like a blue spandex, like a baby blue spandex suit.
Unitard or something.
Yeah, and just like a mask that's kind of like Green Lantern, just kind of glued onto his face.
Right. And he's bald and he has earrings. And here he's wearing a jacket. I think it's supposed to go along with the music video here.
Yeah, this is his stage outfit.
Right.
Yeah, this is super long. It goes on and on and on.
So, what do you want to do for next week's episode?
Oh, I don't know, Steve. I suddenly have so many doubts about just everything in general.
That was going to be my alternate take for the opening at the beginning.
Oh, thank God it ended.
That you were doubting the Church of Obscurity. All right, it's over. All right, now here comes Bibleman Kick-Ass.
Yeah. This is very like 1960s Batman-ish, right? With all like the quips.
So I wonder if like all the other villains, if they just do nothing but sword fight, or, like, does everyone else have a lightsaber as well?
I guess so, because like you probably don't want to give Bibleman like superpowers, right? Like for a Christian thing, because it's like, oh, why does he have powers like God, like shooting lightning bolts or whatever?
Right.
Thing people think God does.
They'll think that if they pray hard enough, they'll get superpowers.
Maybe. And the thing is, but you also obviously can't have him like shooting people or really hurting people.
Yeah, you mean doing something
at least
cool,
this
like
way,
Punisher.
Yeah, so at least this way, it's just they're just constantly like at a duel all the time when they're sword fighting. Because I think even at the end, like, doesn't he just like take him by the arm? I'm sure. I mean, we're gonna see, but
he just leaves.
That if we do not stand firm on our faith,
like Doubt just threw away his own lightsaber for some reason.
Right. Now he's about to make some more henchmen out of those beakers.
too late for Mr.
Oh, that's right.
But these guys are like completely useless.
Thomas, translation of scripture freak, and then no one will believe him or his God.
Now he throws. Is that the same shot from before? I think it is.
Probably. That's it. He takes them out like in a.
Look at that. And they're gone. One hit each for the henchmen. It's like they could have put more time to the fighting and less time in the dance numbers.
Yeah.
Lord.
I mean, it's interesting, right? Having like I guess Bibleman go through the same problem as the kid, but
Yeah.
I can see how on paper he's wearing a different military shirt now.
But he just let SOD just go away while he was, busy talking to God.
His relationship with God is more important than capturing that villain, I guess.
I guess you're right.
Come on, Miles. You've been through tougher battles and faced tougher villains than this.
I know. It's not the battles. It's me. I know that God will never let me down. And in my heart and my mind, I know all the right scriptures. But lately, I've doubted them.
You've been doubting? You know, it sounds to me like you and Kyla may be suffering from the same thing.
Well, you got that right.
He pulls off a beret pretty
In my
good.
mind,
I'll give him
I know
that.
all the right
Yeah,
scriptures.
yeah.
He's basically like
I don't feel
in like
the
Black
way.
Panther garb right here, and not the
Yeah.
superhero, the
Whoever this
militant
is,
group from the 70s or
He's affected my
60s.
ability
So Miles is having yet another existential crisis. Unfortunately, this time he doesn't throw his papers everywhere and scream.
Ah!
Breakthrough. Look at this.
So if we would have had the
Oh,
I'm sorry, what?
I was gonna say,
Oh.
here's that multimedia interactive game.
The Life
But I've
of
gotten way past
Christ.
this level.
Sorry.
Did you play The Life of Christ? Let us know
I
in the comment
can't
section.
say I
The
did.
residue found on the inside of the box shows traces.
So yeah,
of
basically
minerals
here,
which are
like,
harmless.
Coates has figured out that, like,
However,
there's
once they
some
become
minerals,
vapors, they
like,
can be introduced into
in the
bloodstream.
formula that the bad guy made, that, like, once
These
it's airborne,
vapors
it
intensify
increases
into
your,
the skin.
amplifies your feelings,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
That's it. That's the answer.
So basically,
Coates,
the problem here
What's
is
the
human
one
emotion.
common factor between Kyla and me?
You're both short.
Besides that.
Yeah, and then,
Hey,
and it's,
Coates,
again, just, like, really
Kyla
weird
said
writing
she
to me
didn't
because,
feel like
like,
God
then
cared.
he's gonna go on here in a
During
minute
my
about
battles,
how, like,
even though I knew
oh, in the
all the right
Bible and
scriptures,
Proverbs, yada,
I
yada,
didn't
it says
feel like
not
they
to,
were
like, basically trust yourself and instead, like, just trust that God's right, even if you know it's not right
Yeah,
or
basically
whatever.
they say ignore your emotions and trust in God.
Bibleman study room.
But then, like, but then the verse that they read,
Which proverb
and this is,
tells us not to trust
I'm trying not to, like, get, like, too much on a religious soapbox here,
Proverbs
but
3:5.
you know, like, the verse isn't saying, like, don't trust your emotions. It says to, like, not lean on your own understanding, which, in other words, like, in modern language would translate to, like, don't trust the things you actually know.
Right.
Just have faith
Yeah,
in God.
right, of course.
So, and I kind of hate this because, number one, it doesn't make a good argument, I feel, like, to, like, get somebody to believe in God. Like, it's weak as hell. You're basically telling, like, hey, I know that you know things. I know you're smart, but just throw that out the window.
Right.
It's not a
Sometimes the
compelling
best thing is to get back to basics.
argument.
Oh well, I mean,
But
hey,
second,
God.
Couldn't have said it
I
better
hate this
myself.
idea of indoctrinating kids
Ready
to
the chamber, my
be like,
friend.
hey, believe things without evidence, which is basically what he's saying.
ugh, well,
And
Two now.
against two guys
Listen, if
like
you want
us
to teach your
who
kids about-
like logic and
First,
facts,
we're
of
gonna
course
help
we're gonna
Kyla
hate
through
it.
This challenge.
but listen, if you want to teach your kids about God,
teach
that's
that doubt
fine. I just
character
think this is a
Bible lesson
terrible
on
way
its
to
own.
go about
Right.
it by saying believe in things without
Unless you
evidence.
want
Yeah.
me to
You
have
know,
all the fun.
I agree.
You know, you want to tell them, like, the parables or stories from the Bible and whatever. Okay, that's business, but
So basically, in
I
that
don't
last
know.
scene, they figured out how to defeat Shadow of a Doubt, and then, but this time, Coates is gonna get to come along, and he picks up a big like laser bazooka at the end. And now
like
we're Mm-hmm.
this big white bazooka.
now we're back at the church, and those damn kids are still dancing around like they were before. And now Bibleman's about to go talk to Kayla for a third time.
And Kayla's pissed. She says
Yeah.
to Bibleman, I had a feeling you'd be here.
I love it. She's definitely talks the
It's so
way a little
cynical.
kid doesn't
Well,
talk.
now
Yeah,
that's
it's
God
funny.
for you,
Yeah.
because
It's the
Coates
best
and I
actress.
Thought I heard you slime your way in here, Bible man. I heard the self-righteousness oozing out of your armpits.
I know that right now you're feeling.
Yeah, that's right. I'm Kayla. I'm 40 years
It's
old.
scary when
I've been
your parents
drinking
are-
and smoking since I saw you in the last 4 minutes.
It just feels like they don't love each other anymore.
I know.
Well, here's something you might not know
the
about
Bible tells us
Bibleman.
that we
He's
shouldn't
about to get a
count on our
divorce from his
feelings
computer.
to give us the truth. And in Proverbs 3:5, it says that we shouldn't lean on our own understanding. But in
Yeah,
all
like,
our
man, the
ways
way he,
acknowledge God,
I mean, I know this is all
and
typical,
He
but like,
will direct our
just
path.
the delivery of all the Bible verses and stuff, just so
It
condescending.
means
and
that
it's-
Yeah.
sometimes God allows things
And then,
to
like,
happen
again, this explanation, it's
we
so
don't understand.
weird. He's like telling her, like,
But
well,
God
sometimes
will see
God
us
lets
through
bad things happen to
if
us, but if, we put our faith in him and pray hard enough, he'll see us
our
through it.
feelings can
Oh, that's
trick
nice of him
us.
to see us through the
Doubt.
problem he's allowing to happen.
Right, right. and it
Like,
all goes back to the beginning
seems
where
hard
he
to
was
do.
basically like, well, you're for
Well,
you
don't
and
worry.
for your parents,
God knows that
God
too.
has a plan.
And
I'm
don't
like,
forget,
oh, that's
even
my
I had
least
to
Yeah.
favorite like argument like of all time.
Yep.
and I just,
Seems
again,
like
I
there's
think
some
this
things that God
is
just
kind of
doesn't
stuff
want
that a
us
lot of kids, not all of them, but I think a lot of kids will kind of
From now
see
on,
through these
Right.
arguments.
You
Like,
and
Right.
I are hanging on to
like
Hebrews
kids aren't, they're
13:5.
not all dumb. They'll be
Yeah.
like, well, that doesn't
Jesus
really
will
make
never
sense.
No.
You have a child, he
Or forsake
asks like a
us.
million questions, right, about everything.
Right, right. Yes, he
Really?
does.
Really.
I'll try, Bible Man.
I mean, it's kind of like if a thief broke into your house, robbed you of your stuff, and then gave it back to you, and then you're supposed to be grateful
Now,
later.
excuse me,
Yeah, but why?
and gave it back to
I
you.
have an
Hey, well,
Like-
that was God's plan, so you can learn that you don't need stuff. You hell, adoy.
Oh, my bad.
Come on, man, have faith.
Oh man, this dance
do
like
this.
that these kids are doing,
Oh yeah.
like they're like rolling on the floor, then they get on one knee and do the Wakanda Forever thing. Like, so weird.
Yeah. Just hearing about them sing about the armor of God is really creepy sounding.
Yeah.
So we get, oh man.
Did you get this Laverne and Shirley joke?
Oh, I mean, I wrote it down just because, like, I think it's trying to say that, oh, you're saying we're like women, but you don't have a problem because you're not wearing purple tights like me. That makes me extra feminine. Like,
Yeah, I think that's what he's like. Okay, that's kind of what I got from it too. So the joke is that like Coates says,
You see those bad guys?
yeah, and then Ludacris talks about like the bad guys coming in with a big spark and smoke. He's like, they didn't have to do that. They just did it because it looks cooler for the video. Why?
and I bet the production designer
remember,
just like
always look
hated Ludacris because he's just there to undercut everything. And now,
It's gotta be what you said, like to like keep kids from being scared.
right.
1 Corinthians
And now I don't know
15:58
what's going on
says
with
to
SOD
stand
here.
firm,
He's wearing a
letting
wig
nothing move
and a
you.
bathrobe, and he's like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
Bible man," and I have nothing to wear. And then in the next
Yeah, he
scene,
came out very Miss Doubtfire-ish.
yeah, I think it's supposed to be more like Bugs Bunny or something.
Brought low, and the pride of
Yeah,
men will
that
be
probably makes
humbled.
more sense.
The Lord alone shall be exalted.
Oh
Isaiah
man, I
2:17.
think this would make Ned Flanders blush. Bible verse.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt about
This
that.
is giant bazooka.
Yeah,
It's got like a Super Scope 6
Yeah.
reticle.
it does look like a Super Scope.
It looks like just a giant Super Scope 6, actually.
Now, what would be hilarious is if he like, what is it? Just a net?
You'll never
Yeah, it
stop
just
us.
shoots a
You'll
net.
always
It's just a
be one.
bazooka.
It's a net Zuka.
It looked like it was 3 feet long, the bazooka, but it just shoots out a
Doubt
net.
that.
If
The
only it were
Bible
a
says
real
in
bazooka,
Ephesians
that would have
2:8
been a
that our
surprise.
faith is a gift from God. Did
But
I
then,
mention I'm a
like,
big
I guess
believer in gifts?
He didn't get, but then he's using the net manually. It was very confusing.
Yeah.
I'll say I'm sorry if you do.
Tell it to the judge.
Olay again.
Olay again.
I'm so sure. It's just a game, Bible Man.
Oh, sure. It's all just fun and games until
So
someone
actually, I guess Bibleman does break the fourth wall too
Right,
here
right, right.
will be without.
when he like makes a pun about doubt. Whatever.
So yeah, it's all. Like,
And then this weird like Michael Jackson like dance
Yeah,
from
gosh.
Coates with the Michael Jackson ripoff music.
I can only imagine like the conversation between Willie and or not Willie. Yeah, no, Willie and him. He's just like, hey,
You'll
I
never
want you to
get rid of
dress
me.
or dance
As
like
long as
Michael
you live,
Jackson
you'll
after you beat up the
always
guy.
find
And he's
yourself
like, why?
battling
It's like, you know why. It's like, no, why? Why do you want me to dance like Michael Jackson? It's like, come on, you know why. Come on.
Perhaps. But when in doubt, wipe it out.
Isn't that from like one of the Hogan movies we watched or something? When in doubt.
Attention.
He says when in doubt.
Oh yeah, it's from
Standing with Muscles.
Standing
right?
with Muscles.
Yeah.
It's one of the rules that
Yeah.
Hogan's character has. He has all those like
Stupid
rules for
rules,
success or
yeah.
living or whatever.
So basically, SOD just sort of left,
Good job,
and now they're back in the Bible cave.
Initializing transmission.
Yeah. Oh, I guess the pastor does know that he's Bible man because here they have a conversation. I think.
Oh, and also SOD escaped with a smoke bomb, basically.
They've got some
Yeah.
things to iron out. They'll be a happy family in no time with God's help.
Transmission complete.
Okay, so it wasn't interactive. Okay, it was just like a video message.
God is faithful, isn't he?
Well, how is in 1998 this pastor recording and sending a video message?
Well, I just love like all the steps they have to go through to retrieve the message. They're like, okay,
Yeah, it's like, oh, initialize this computer.
right,
There's
right,
like 3
okay, I see
alarms.
it. Now defragmentize the whatever.
Yeah. He's like, I've got the vector.
Right, yeah, it's
Hi,
ridiculous.
kids. Sometimes it may feel
Notch
like
Johnson
God
here,
doesn't
kids.
hear our prayers, but the Bible promises that God loves us more than we could ever know, and that even when people let us down, Jesus will always be with us. If you feel like you're far away from God,
So
you
this
should
is
tell
like
your
one of
parents,
several times
your
where
pastor.
he says
remember,
the Bible tells us,
is the
and then he
true
proceeds to say
superhero.
something that the Bible doesn't actually say.
Right.
So long.
Which is just, man. I mean, of course, you and I, this isn't going to be up our alley, being non-believers.
Right.
But this is particularly manipulative, in my opinion. He said, he's constantly saying, like earlier, he says, the Bible tells us not to be led by our feelings. There really isn't a verse that says that.
No. It's like that's like saying, oh, the Bible says to just believe and give us your money.
Yeah. Like the Bible doesn't say God loves us more than we'll ever know. It does say he loves us, allegedly. But
don't you understand, Yahel, that some men who are greater than you and I interpreted it that way for us?
I do like that Big Bubba's Barbecue is in the credits as the caterer.
I missed that. Did we ever find out who did the music on this? I meant to check the credits.
Yeah, they're in the credits.
Let's see.
I can give you the name.
need to know who
I just
they
went by it. Original score by Corey Ireland, and that's Corey with a K.
Corey Ireland. Well then, I'll have to, because it wasn't listed on the wiki or the IMDb. But well, that's Bible Man. Should we render a verdict?
Yeah, I don't think that's
All right, Mr. Velazquez, or should I just call you my coats? I don't want to be Bible Man though. So anyway, do you think that Bible?
Well, Steve, you're not the one wearing these tights.
Do you think Bible Man should be remembered for all of human history, or tossed into the black hole of obscurity, never to be heard from again?
This was like not really even so bad it's good. Like a couple times it almost veers into that territory a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I would say even like for Christian parents, I don't think that they should use this. This is just going to invite more questions you're not going to have the answers to.
Right. I mean, there has to be better media than this out there for Christian youths. Although I'm sorry.
I was just saying, it's almost like it's like both too simple and too complicated for kids.
Right.
As far as like the Bible teaching aspects of it, because he's like quotes so many Bible verses. That's a great way to get kids to like tune out.
Oh, I tuned out for every single one of them.
Yeah. So that's not going to be good. And then like the way he's like answering Kayla's questions, like he doesn't answer them very well.
No.
And it's just going to make your kid be like, wait, and then they're going to ask you the question. And Kayla asks some like, difficult questions that don't really have answers other than, well, you just got to believe,
Right.
What parent wants to answer those?
Indeed. Well, they're too busy fighting, Yahel. I mean, according to the Bibleman universe.
They're probably arguing about her fucking questions. And I think Kayla's the one driving the wedge. And the only reason why at the end of the episode, this is my theory, Steve. The only reason why at the end of the episode the parents are starting to get along is because she's been spending her time with Bibleman and knowing him instead of her parents.
And we forgot to mention that when Pastor Rex calls at the end, he tells them that Kayla and her parents are going to be a happy family again. Thanks to Bibleman.
He says like they're working things out.
Yeah. I'd like to see that. But anyway.
I convinced the wife to be subservient to him again. Right. Everything's going to be fine.
They gave us enough money in the offering and everything's going to be great. No, I pretty much agree with you there. I mean, I knew even when I was watching this, I was like, man, it's like not so bad. It's good. It's more just like bad, kind of bored. I mean,
boring.
I think they did have at least somewhat of a budget for this compared to the previous episodes. I mean, Bibleman's like cave was at least like, resembled a bat cave. It was, very colorful and vibrant, I guess.
Well, they probably like took whatever money they made off selling the first couple of videos.
And if you watch the later seasons of Bibleman, their production value gets better, and the suit actually gets better too. I mean, not great.
Steve, sounds like you're quite a fan. How many of these did you watch?
I mean, I was just curious. I was just clicking around because I've just never.
Hey, that's how it starts, man. Don't be bi-curious, and by that I mean Bible curious.
Wow,
that's the only kind of bi-curious I won't tolerate.
How is that not a shirt? Thank you,
Steve. We should make that shirt and sell it to like churches. Yeah, Am I bi-curious? Yeah. And on the back, Bible curious.
Could make a lot of money. We
probably
and
could.
Then this podcast will have finally turned a profit. But anything else?
Yeah. So I guess we both say don't remember this one.
Oh yes. That is the so. Yeah, Bibleman boring. I think even boring for kids. So
it's.
What?
It starts off promising though with that intro where I thought I was in for a treat when he has his crisis and he's yelling in the rain, but that's the highlight.
Yes, that's when we laughed the most, I would say, like throughout the episode. Yeah. And other than that, it was just kind of annoying, kind of boring, and very sort of condescending with all the Bible verses and whatever. And for all those reasons, Bibleman, you're obliterated.
The heathens have spoken. You are obliterated.
So when you were looking around for the episodes of Bibleman, did you happen to see that there's a YouTuber called Nostalgic Christian?
No.
He reviewed one of the Bibleman episodes too, so there you
go. How did you watch any of his review?
No, I didn't have time for that. No, the only reviews that matter are the ones right here, Yahel, right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's a weird production, and maybe it gets better later on. Maybe, this is Willie Ames. Maybe he just isn't like good at writing this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I mean, in his defense, I do think like media like this Christian media geared at kids would be pretty difficult to write.
I think that's as good as it's probably gonna get.
I think the big mistake here was like having Kyla, whatever her name was, ask so many questions. Because I feel if anything, if I would have watched this as a kid, this would have made me have my doubts. It would have planted the seed of doubts because of all the questions she had that really don't get any good answers.
So what you're saying, Yahel, is that Kayla should have just shut her damn mouth and got into the kitchen and made you some pie. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying. They made her almost like too realistic.
Yeah, she's
like a character.
Well, see, maybe that was Willie his inner secular side coming out. Maybe he was he worked his way in to burn it all to the ground, man.
Oh, like he's an undercover atheist agent of chaos,
yes,
infiltrating the Christian children's media market.
I think we just blew the lid off this puppy.
You know what? Willie earned that job as a 6-star cruise director, getting to travel the globe, visiting 127 countries. You earned it, sir. I take back everything I said about you. And hey, you may be short in height, but you are tall in, I don't know, espionage and infiltration.
What I'd like to know is, Willie, after you completed your tour of duty as a cruise director, in all the places that you visited, did God come with you? Did you find God in all those places? Be honest with yourself.
He's always there with us.
Yes. So, anything else to add before we wrap it up here?
Maybe again. I know I said we both said we weren't really here to make fun of the faith itself, but oops, I guess we kind of did a lot more than I meant to. At least. So, I apologize.
I doubt they stuck around that long.
Yeah, I doubt so. I doubt it too.
But if you did,
I apologize if anyone was offended. But
hey, maybe you're.
I think the writing was the most offensive.
Yeah.
part.
Hey, maybe if you're questioning things, make sure you post it down in the comments. And hey, we're there for you. We're there for you.
Yeah.
Yahel and I, we already broke free, and you too can be free, listener.
Oh, I see. He gets a female sidekick later on, and he gets like this metallic suit.
Yeah, I told you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And
oh shit, he gets a third sidekick.
Who's the third sidekick?
I don't know. It's like a kid.
They need Bible Dog is what they need. Bible Dog.
I might get high and there's an episode called Silencing the Gossip Queen.
Yeah. So, man, they get really long names.
The 6 Lies of the Fiddler, which is clearly like
more like
got green
6
hair,
Lies of the Diddler. Am I right?
Hey, combating the Commandant of Confusion.
Isn't that
blasting the big game master bully? Like what?
Molesting the wait.
I don't know. This is there's one. Okay, this is the last one. Lambasting the legions of laziness.
Is it
so now Bibleman's just trying to get you to do your chores.
Is it legions or legions?
Legion. Yeah, Legions.
Wow. Oh.
So
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I guess like this one's just about like getting you to do your shit around the house.
Yeah, I've got one thing to bring up that's completely off topic, but is within the realm of the show, though. I was poking around on our favorite filmmaker, Roy Kirkland's website to see if he had any more movies coming out when that vampire one was coming out. And like, sadly, I think that one's been shelved. But then there was another one on there, like this slasher movie with like this home invasion or something. But then there's nowhere to watch this. There's nowhere to order it. And it looks like they're releasing some sort of new feature that's, I don't know, military veterans, blah, 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 not really our forte. So, yeah, I was kind of...
yeah, that's more for coats.
So, I don't know. I'm going to continue digging deeper into the Roy Kirkland filmography.
Yeah, please do. I did have one last thing about Bibleman.
Yeah, sure.
I promise it's the last thing. So it's about that lambasting the legions of laziness episode. I need to read you this description.
Okay.
So in it is the Bible team, which is like Bibleman and like he's got 3 sidekicks at this point. Anyways, the description is: an elderly man politely suggests that Bibleman takes a nap, but the Bible team turns around and destroys him. What?
Somebody wrote that as a joke. That's on IMDb, right?
It's on IMDb.
Oh, I wish we would have watched that episode. Oh,
I know.
Oh, well, if we find one that's really worth watching, we can always do a follow-up. But But for now, thanks everybody for checking us out, be it on YouTube or podcast or wherever. And we will see you next Sunday as we continue to unearth even more obscure media only on Obscurity Now. See you next time.
God bless.
You've been enjoying Obscurity Now, a podcast that's recorded live to tape and streamed to Twitch and YouTube. Subscribe so you never miss an episode or hilarious quip. Take us with you by following the download links provided in the show notes to wherever you get podcasts. And take notice of our various social media links if that's what you're into. I'm not here to judge. And make sure you join us live next week at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific as we continue to discuss more obscure media only on Obscurity Now.